Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, October 5th, and it is a gorgeously overcast day because we need rain. We're still in a bit of a drought here. We got 2.5 inches of rain last week, but nothing since then. So today we're supposed to have two waves, one coming through around 10 o'clock, and then another one this evening or afternoon around 4 or 5. At least that was last time I looked. And as you can see from the clock, it's just about 8 o'clock. But it'll be a good day for walking around out there as long as it's not raining too hard. It may be peppering, but we do need the rain. Here in the front porch, not too much has really changed. The orchid, the Phalaenopsis, of course, is still doing well. I think it is in its happy place. And my other two orchids are about the same. No major change there. Oh, there's Miss Mimi wandering about. Miss Mimi, what are you doing? Uh-oh, I see she has I just came in from outside and she has a mosquito bothering her. Yeah, these two orchids are doing fine. What? Good morning. Where are you? There you are. Is that mosquito bothering you? We're going for a walk. I don't think I showed you this, but this African violet is in bloom. In fact, I went yesterday and bought a paintbrush. Those of you that have African violets, every now and then the leaves get dusty. And I found that a paintbrush works fine dusting the leaves off. This one got dusty because of the flowers. You can see they give off pollen of this peace plant. It is also living its life there. But yes, the African violets are doing well. These are all older African violets. And this one, I probably should take the outer band of leaves off because they're yellowing, and the inner band you can see is nice and green. And that is how you propagate African violets, because every one of these leaves, if you stick them in the right soil and keep them moist, will give you another plant. It's fairly easy. I wouldn't say it's easy to get them to root. Oh, we need to get out of here before it starts bonging. 3 of my clocks chime. But yeah, I don't see any activity. Oh, there goes one now. I don't see any activity yet on my Christmas cactus. But let's start. I should say the antique shop where I bought a few tassels, or the booth in the shop, was going out of business. So I went and bought a lot more tassels because they were 60% off. Passementerie. Oh, it's sprinkling a little bit, but we'll see how far we can get. Of course, here the plants are looking about the same. Very dry in the front yard. I did work in the front yard this week. I went ahead and cut back the, actually let's give you a shot from here where you can see the whole potager. I cut back the lemongrass, trimmed them up, and this particular lavender had just shriveled. So I went ahead and bought a new one, and now I can tell you the names of the lavender. This is Goodwin Creek. In my zone 9A, that is really the only lavender that I've had any luck with. I've planted just about every other one I could get my hands on, and none of them seem to survive the sticky, moist summers, but the Godwin Creek does pretty well. I did plant some lettuces for the fall, and also nipped back all the flowers on my Thai basil and regular basil. I also had bought some sweet onions that I planted in there. I will probably sprinkle some dill seeds around because I do like dill. And on the front side, I cleaned up these beds here. And those of you that may notice, although probably not, those caladiums were different from these caladiums. And what I did do this week is I went ahead and I transplanted them. All of these, which now match the rest of them, caladium-wise, were in a pot that I had. And I stole a couple, actually there were in a couple of pots. But I stole some from that big asparagus pot I have in the backyard, 2 of them. But in any event, now they are the same caladium on both sides. And I cleaned up the dianthus from last year. And I bought some new dianthus, same color, because they happen to have it. And I filled in the gaps. So like in there is some new one, but it's basically the same. In fact, it looks like I need to plant one right there. They disappear sometime when I weed whack. Let's see, what was that caladium that is now all over the front was called, can't read it from down there, Pink Beauty. They will come back. I don't know if they're going to be as thick as they are now, but the majority of them ought to come back. I didn't do any work out front. This is one of the places I'm going to probably do this week. I really need to clean up the edge of this bed. But this also has Pink Beauty. But I'll plant some annuals in these gaps when I do the weeding, but haven't done it yet. We'll get to it. The cactus is looking good. The Opuntia. One of the things I did this week was get my car serviced. I do that every year about now. And they actually fixed a button for me. The hatchback of my car, the little button underneath that opens it, the cover on it broke. So you don't really see it. I don't want to show you my license plate number, but it's right up in here. And the other thing, my other statement of the week, I normally don't get into this type of stuff because I like to stick to gardening, but just some advice to those of you that are older. Well, there aren't that many people older than me, my age. This house is now officially for sale. It's the tale of the reverse mortgage that I wanted to warn older viewers about, or viewers my age. The lady that owned it had owned it for as long as I've lived here. She used to rent it out, and she took out a reverse mortgage, and unfortunately, due to advanced age, had to go into a home. Well, depending on your particular reverse mortgage, they usually have a clause in them that says you must live in your home. You can't rent it out. It has to be your primary residence. So once when she went in the home, her home was then vacant. So the bank eventually foreclosed on it, or the lending institution foreclosed on it. And FHA repaid the lending institution, and then FHA turned it over to HUD in this last week. So they've got now yellow things in the window. So HUD will be selling the house. So if you're considering a reverse mortgage, yes, it does give you instant money, but read the fine print. You may not want to take it out. But enough said about that. This is my cryptomeria that is doing really well. I want to highlight this because they'll be going in the backyard. You'll see why. This cassia starting to turn yellow from the drought. I've been trying to get these plants in the front yard. Other than the things I've just planted, I tend to not water them that much because they all are established, and it's better to have them seek the moisture on their own. So that's the reason why that one's just yellowing. It's just from the drought. These, what are they? Mediterranean fan palms did really well this year. This one was planted later and it was a small one. And that one was a larger one that had a lot of frost damage last year. So they're about the same height now. This one is only about maybe 6 to 8 inches taller. I used to have a matched set, but I moved this one to the backyard in too shady of a location, or the one that was there in the backyard. And then I regretted it ever since. So I put it back. Oh, let's see how the figs are doing. I hope with the storm we get this afternoon that it's not going to have a lot of wind, because these figs are very floppy. Oh, you can see here they're starting to turn. That's good. They'll turn black. Oh, I just noticed some other figs up here. So it's going to be a late harvest this year. Not a whole lot. Oh, and actually I see one way at the tippy top. I just didn't notice it before. Oh, there's even more over here. Or is that the same one? No, there's different ones up there. I'm not crazy about figs, but I will eat them. Looking up here. Yeah, they're even coming up way up in there. Hot damn, as they say in the deep south. Here all is well. I didn't do any new work here. I have to fill this water bath. I did buy some more bearded iris. I like to have 4 in this bed, but this bed only seems to like to have 2. So I bought some bare root ones from Lowe's and I'm rooting them. Oh, a bumblebee, or in Old British language, Dumbledore. That was one of those things I learned trivia questions. That's where J.K. Rowling has got the name for Dumbledore. Old English term for bumblebee. Simple fact, use it as you will. Here you can see how dry the dirt is. But everything here is coming back nicely. This, you can see little shoots where I had trimmed this back. I tend to like to let these Encore azaleas grow to be a little fluffy. I kind of want to keep them about the same height. But yeah, everything in here is doing well. This is the last of the plants that I planted. And it is a yellow one. Camellia. Couldn't think of camellia fast enough. Mental block. But that was the last of the camellias. Yeah, this camellia garden is probably only about 10 to 15 years old. I had some old trees removed in the backyard, and because of that I had to move this bird bath. And none of these plants were here because they removed this fence to get large equipment. They drove through here, so everything was basically down to the dirt. And it's been built back since then. And I decided to put in a bunch of different camellias. Oh, the loquats are in bloom again. They're starting to open up. Let me see if I can pull one down with a bloom. They kind of look like strawberry blossoms when they bloom. Ooh, it's peppering rain a little better, which is good. Hopefully a camera will stay dry. Bananas are doing fine. I need to cut some of the dead off. Oh, the other thing I need to do is, back where the ponytail palm is, I have some Louisiana iris there. And they're growing willy-nilly. and I will dig them up maybe next week and replant them, but plant them closer together. They grow linearly apart from one another, so you wind up with a circle if you planted a clump. My tomato is doing well. It's got some green fruit, actually quite a lot of green fruit up in there. Mandevilla doing well. This is the oldest lavender that I have. That one's probably about 5 years plus. No new flowers, but plenty of prickly apples on my datura. In the backyard, I didn't do much this week. This was a week of a lot of appointments, between doctor appointments and waiting for people here. The other thing that happened this week is my new washer dryer that I bought a couple months ago. A piece of the interior of the dryer door, plastic piece, snapped off, leaving a rough edge. So being that it was under warranty, I called and had it repaired this week. Of course, nowadays you call, the repairman comes, you meet him once, he orders the part, they send it to your house, has to come back again. Ooh, this is beautiful today. Butterfly ginger, it is really scenting up the whole backyard. Bougainvillea, still doing well. I replanted this troth with some Johnny Jump Ups, and again another lavender. These flowers are all doing well. Oh, I see my poor poinsettia within the window. It needs rain. It needs water. I should bring it out, because rain actually has a little bit of fertilizer in it. Well, not in it, but it absorbs nitrogen as it falls, and nitrogen is part of a fertilizer mix. Ah, ta-da-da-da-da-da. Not really spectacular because the greens are looking terrible, but this is my toad lily blossom. Finally, it has bloomed. See if I can give you a close-up of it. It would look better if the greens were actually green, but it is what it is. And here you can see my Nico Blue is sprouting. Not bad for being planted in the heat of the summer. This bush is doing well, the boxwood. That Encore azalea is, all of my Encore azaleas, by the way, are the same, except for 2 in the front, which I don't show you anyway. Oh, another bumblebee, trying to get out of here before the rains come. These bananas are doing fabulously well. Well, I don't know if you can hear the rain in the back, but it is here. I'll keep going as much as I can, but it is pleasant to have it raining. Fountains are going. My Pieris japonica doing well. This palm, ground palm, is loving its life here because of the proximity to the palm trees, and the runoff of the fertilizer is really what it's living off of. Back in here, all is well. My ground orchids and nun orchids are doing well back in here. Well, the squirrels have been running around again because I see my little plaque on the wall there. The fence is crooked. Ooh, I can really smell the loquats back here. This one is actually, oh, I can pull this one down. You can actually see the flowers there. It has a very strong, powdery sweet smell is what I would call it. Again, like Johnson's baby powder when I say powdery sweet. Strawberry pots are still doing fine. Of course, I haven't worked in here, so it looks the same as it did last week. Back in here, all is well. I don't think I showed you this last week. I bought me a tractor. I saw this at the little antique shop that I go to, the same one that had the, what do you call those things? The tassels that I bought. But this is a neat little thing. Looks like John Deere. But I didn't give but $20 for it. I figured it was worth a shot. The only problem is it doesn't steer. So I put the rope on it so I can pull it. But it's good for weeding because, of course, that chair is very comfortable. The only hitch in the get-along was when I got it, all the tires were flat. And it turned out one of the inner tubes was bad. So I had a project. And I found a guy that fixes lawnmowers that had the actual replacement tube. So I haven't used it yet. It'll be perfect in the front yard. It's great for people that have straight lines because it goes in a straight line very easily. Oh, there's Fluffy. Oh, he's fighting with or sneaking up on his brother. His brother I call Felix. And here you can see the first batch of fruit that looks like it's forming pretty well on this Pindo palm. These older branches are bracts that held fruit, well, that held flowers or inflorescences, did not have fruit. They only had one or two of these little acorn-like things. I don't know as if it's going to ripen, but it is what it is. From this vantage point, you can see the pine cone gingers coming up there, and the fact that I cut down my snowball viburnum. I will eventually get here in the backyard, just didn't make it this week. Too much stuff going on. However, the good news is things grow without you in your garden. My plumeria is looking fantastic. I'm just so tickled I won't have to water today. Today would have been a watering day. There's another view of a pinecone ginger over there. The vincas are still doing fine in pots. I just have to keep remembering to water them because sometimes when we get rains, even though we got like 2.5 inches of rain, that's always not enough, or sometimes it's not enough to get the pots wet because of the locations of the pots. So I just have to keep remembering to water even though it has rained. When you're talking about pots, that is. Hopefully no water drops have hit the camera yet here. Doesn't appear to show any. The Canary Island date palm is doing so well, liking its life, that I see it's got 4 inflorescences all at the bottom. So it will have its blossoms, if you will. But yes, all is well over here. I do like this mandevilla. This is a darker red than the other mandevillas that I've got. And I think I will probably bring that into the front porch. I may have told you that before. Unfortunately, that caladium got pulled off the porch or the deck yesterday while I was watering. And you can see some dirt there. And it looks a little the worse for wear. These geraniums are doing fine. These geraniums have been here for a couple, 3 years. I don't remember exactly how many, but I know it's more than 2. You can see how it's raining. It should be time for this golden chalice vine to bloom. It's the first year I've actually let it get a little taller, and I've staked it. I should have staked it up earlier in the year, but didn't. Pentas still doing fine. And you can see, I found cyclamen. I replaced the caladiums with cyclamen. Not my first choice of colors, but it was my only choice of colors. And these will last there through March. I will have to protect them from frost. These are some extras of the dianthus from the front yard. That's one thing I like about shopping locally, because the little store Owls across the street, Owls 5 and Dime, sells 3-packs of plants. This whole 3-pack is like, it's over $1.50, but less than $2. For $2, you can't even get a single plant anymore at Lowe's. So you have to go to other places. Well, this particular bromeliad, not looking so good. This one's better. Oh, here are the orchids that the irises that I bought. Hopefully they'll sprout up some green sprouts, some green shoots. My Queen's ginger is doing fine. This was the new leaf last week, but some bug had gotten in the curl of the leaf and had nipped it. But it needs nourishment, so I let it grow. That's actually a new stalk coming. So I'm glad for that. But yes, all is well over here. It looks like the hummingbirds have waned a little bit, because I replaced that hummingbird feeder. It was empty on Thursday, and it doesn't look like it's been touched since then. I still have some mums here that haven't bloomed, and others that have. And my desert rose is looking a little better. I'll have to bring that in for the winter. I think I'm going to put more things in the garçonniere this year. I hope to start working on the inside of the garçonniere to get it finished. Little by little, it'll happen. This next week, I've got 2 things going on. One is up the street. Let's sit, even though the chair is wet. A neighbor from up the street got a new roof, and I liked the way they worked it, because they finished it in 1 day. So I've called their company. They're going to come by and give me a quote for a fortified roof to help during hurricanes. I'm due. And then the other thing happening this week is I'm getting a new security system. AT&T has decided to not keep up their landline anymore in my area. So they sent me a warning. And my old security system, which I don't really use that much, but it's nice to have, requires a phone line in order to work. And so I had the choice, either get a new AT&T line or get a new security system. And you can see the way that I'm going, and AT&T can have their line and eat it too. But there you have it for the week. A lot going on. There's always a rush in the fall when it gets cool, because then I feel like doing things again. But I hope you all get to get out in your yards and enjoy them. I will this week, hopefully. And until next week, take care. I'm trying to figure out what to leave you with a picture of. I guess of the Pentas is about it. So take care. See you next week.